Welcome to the Apex Social podcast. My name is Maren Heiler. Apex Social is known as the highest quality of therapy and special needs service. We bring the support of excellence right into the families with special need kids. Every day, our people uplifting families and their children. My interview guest is Horst Schulze. He's the founder of Ritz-Carlton and the Capella Group, and he succeeded a lot of things in his life already. Horst Schulze will tell us about his life and how he accomplished obstacles. I'm gonna ask him a question many of you have. How can you be excellent under stress? We will find out what he thinks about stress and how he handles stress. Defining yourself is another topic. What do you want from life? Who do you want to be? And what is the value behind being excellent? Horst Schulze is an expert and he wrote a book called Excellent Wins, and I can highly recommend this. Like always on the end, I will ask my guest, what advice can you give to us? And he will tell you a powerful story as well as a model of leadership. Grab yourself a drink, relax, and enjoy this episode with Horst Schulze. We always love your comments and a good recommendation, so feel free to give us one. Let's start with the podcast. Hello, Mr. Horst Schulze. I'm pleased to have you here.
Nice to be with you.
Let's talk about the beginning of your early career. We know a lot about you. You went to the Apex Inspire as a speaker and you worked with Apex Social as an advisor to find their values in the company. And how was this experience for you to work with Apex Social at the beginning?
Well, Susan, who is the leader of Apex, called me and she had seen a speech I made, I think, and asked if I would advise her. And frankly, I'm very selective whom I advise. I get because of my background, I get a lot of offers for advice and consulting. And so I look, what do you do as a company? I did that with Apex. What do you do? What is your vision? What is your thinking? Who do you serve? And I saw, with other words, as I look very careful in the philosophy of the organization and the thinking of the organization. Frankly, I was extremely impressed. I mean, really extremely with what Apex was doing and what their objectives were. So I joined. I said, yes, I want to be part of you for a while. So for the next 12 months, I advised Susan and Sarah and the company how to structure the organization, how to build the organization, how to work on and identify the values and align everybody to the values of the organization. That's how the background, yes.
Yes, you built up a worldwide company. You are founder of the Capella Group, wrote a book, Excellent Wins. Your whole success started as a young boy in your home village back in Germany. You had a dream. Can you tell us about your dream?
Yeah, everybody wants to know why I had it and so on, but I can't tell you. But I don't know. Mind you, I come from a small village, Winningen an der Mosel in Germany, small town. There is no hotel. There was no hotel right after the war years. I had never been in a hotel or in a restaurant. But with 11 years, when I was 11, I went to my parents and said, I would like to work in the hotel business. We wondered today, and we wondered always, ever since where that came from. I must have read something. My parents didn't take it serious, but I kept on insisting on it, crying and so on. So they inquired what they should do for me to get involved in the hotel business. They were advised to find a job in the best hotel in the region as a Kellner Lehrling, busboy. They found a job in the best hotel in the region, which unfortunately was 100 kilometers from my home. So when I was 14, I left home, lived in a dorm room in the hotel, and started working in the hotel. And it is my life very fulfilled life ever since. So at 11 years old, that was 72 years ago, by the way.
I read in an article about you that you wrote an essay.
Well, yeah.
This essay was changing your life and also the
Yeah,
life of many other people.
sure. We all are the result of input from many people. Let's face it. We didn't know anything. We grow because others give us input, uh, uh, purposely or not. So, but I was very fortunate when I started working in that hotel. Now you have to understand, my parents, that was the best hotel in the region. My parents told me before I get there, we could never go to a hotel like that. That hotel is only for very important people, for fine ladies and gentlemen, wouldn't be for us. And when I started there, the general manager told me the same thing. You are here to learn how to serve important guests. The guests here are very important, fine ladies and gentlemen. But next, I talked to the head waiter, the maitre d' of the hotel. And he told me two sentences which later slowly changed my life. Number one, he said, show up tomorrow at 7 a.m. 7 Uhr pünktlich. If I meant 1 minute after 7, I would tell you so. So he established discipline. And then the next thing he said, and that was very strange, but don't come to work to work. Come to work to create excellence. By the way, in German, but he used the word excellence. He used it as always excellence. Let's be excellent. I didn't understand that when I was 14 years old. Excellence, washing dishes at a time, Kellnerlehrer, busboy. You wash dishes, you clean floors, you clean ashtrays and so on. What's excellent about it? But I slowly learned from him what excellence is. Mm-hmm. And now comes to the SA. Once a week we went to typical German upbringing. You work in a business once a week. You go to a school of your business. In this case, hotel school. All the kids from the area come there. And after 2 years, I was 16. The teacher asked us to write an essay, what we now think about the hotel business. And I was thinking about it going back. I worked in a restaurant and I saw that maitre d' approach a table. Mind you, very important, ladies and gentlemen. He approached a table and I realized, I've seen it before, but never really realized it. The guests on that table were proud. I realized everybody is. And when I went and that night and started writing my essay, I wrote about him. And I called that essay, We Are Ladies and Gentlemen. Servant ladies and gentlemen. I said that we are not servants. Contrary to what everybody thought, we are not servants. We are ladies and gentlemen. If we do excellence in what we're doing, if we define ourselves, I realized the guests were proud that he came to them, that maitre d', because that maitre d', that head waiter, had defined himself as a gentleman of excellence. And I realized we can all do that even if we are dishwashers. We can still define ourselves as fine ladies or gentlemen. And I wrote an essay about that. Okay.
So you defined yourself in an early age, and then you created excellence. And since many years, you're sharing this excellence and your vision, because your vision was to create the greatest and the best hotel group in the world. So how do you share your vision with your team members?
Well, yeah, the dream, I started Ritz-Carlton Hotel Company, and which was for many years voted best hotel company in the world. Not only that, best brand in the world. And mind you, in all locations where we were voted number one during my time, and we were in 5 continents. And it is important to understand. And by the way, now after it's called, I created Capella Hotel Company, which I sold 2 years ago, which is now voted #1 hotel company in the world. So the philosophy is the same. How did we make sure that, your question is how that everybody is aligned, meaning, and that's a word that's used a lot today by people, alignment. Well, you cannot become, I didn't make Ritz-Carlton the best hotel company. Many waiters and housekeepers and doormen and cooks and workers all together made it the best hotel company in the world. I was just the leader of that. But what we established philosophies and systems that all were concentrating on becoming the best in the world. We made sure that we hired people. We didn't hire people. We selected people and offered them, those people, employees, potential employees, offered them not a job, not a function to do, but we offered them to join us in our dream to become the best in the world. Now, we told them the value of that to them and to the company and to everybody when we interviewed them. But we told them right away, do not come to work for us, like that Maitre D did with me. I learned it from him. We said, join us in creating excellence and to become known in the best in the world. And at the same time, we told them, of course, if we accomplish that, you will have a chance of growing. You will be respected. You will be recognized, and so on, so on. You will be honored. You will make more money. So we didn't only show the dream and the vision, but we showed the motive of that vision at the same time already when we interviewed people. By the way, I have to make a comment about that. I think that's the immorality of many companies. We hire people to fulfill a certain function. Now, the chair in which I'm sitting here is fulfilling a function, but we are hiring human beings, and we should offer them, when we hire them, a higher intent than just a function. The function should be there for a higher intent.
So if you're going to work, you're not going to work because you're going to fulfill yourself with the actions you're doing, with the sharing and with the service you're bringing and you're sharing with your customers.
Yes, that's exactly it. And of course, as a that's what a leader does. For me, we also have to manage. We have to manage the processes in the work. We have to manage the process so that an employee whom I now hire to join us, who now is part of us, so that we sustain the attitude and the feeling in them. So for that reason, in our company, you could not go to work without having a 5 to 10 minutes meeting in your department. Mind you, we are 24-hour business. Every department, 24 hours before the people go to work, they had to meet, and we are reminding them of the values of the company and what we have to do to become #1 in the world.
Yes.
We remind them. So we didn't only hire them for that. We also, with the first day of work, we reoriented them to that thought. Then we trained them right, and then we sustained the thinking by reminding them every day of who we are.
That's a process. What do you think? What values have you had in an early age that made you being excellent? What is the value behind?
Much impacted by that Maitre D, by that head waiter, who reminded us as young people. I was not the only one working there as a young man, of course, others remind us every day to do everything excellently. Do not compromise. Come to work for excellence. He was relentless in reminding of us. If we put a fork on the table, it was not totally straight. He asked us, is that excellent? Why don't you concentrate on doing things right for the value of all concerned? He all kept on telling us, he kept on teaching us values. Be honest, be in time, do things right for yourself, for your own satisfaction, and for value to all concerned. That means for the customer, for the employees, and so on. He taught us, if you make a decision about something, that was very important in my later life. If you make a decision about something, question yourself always: is this good for all that concerned? Like, to fast forward now, when I started Ritz-Carlton or Capella or other companies, I questioned my Capella or Ritz-Carlton. The dream, the vision was to become the number one, be recognized as the number one hotel company in the world. And then as a leader, I have to question myself, truly, not just with easy answers, but would that be good for the investors? Would that be good for the customer, for the guest? Would that be good for every employee? Would that be good for society as a whole? If the answer would be no in one case, you shouldn't do it. Whatever you do, whatever your plan is, particularly, you have to realize you impact other people, and you have to question yourself, is this good for all concerned? That was a value that I learned from this method E. And I was truly conscious of that, to apply this whenever I started a new something that impacted others around me. Is it good for them?
Yeah, we always impact other people. As an example, in agriculture, our CPs.
You impact so many people, yeah.
Yeah, in all life status.
Yeah.
In all life status, yes. You say the values: doing things right, do everything excellent, and do not compromise, and question your own decisions. Is this good for everyone you impact?
That's correct. That's what I'm saying. So it's being a human being. What is excellence? Let's stay with that for a moment. What is excellence? Excellence is never an accident. It's always the result of high intent and hard work. But again, that high intent that you have should be good for all concerned. That's what it is. By the way, excellence, that's used a lot now here in America, the word. And I, of course, wrote a book about excellence wins. But excellence in a thing, if you think about it, excellence in a thing, it may be, the thing is anything. It may be your iPod or chair, anything. Excellence in a thing is if it works well for what it has been created. Excellence in a human being is to do your very best in everything that you do, in all functions that you fulfill. You can never do it perfect, but you can do your very best in your functioning. But also, excellence as a human being, you have to do your very best in your relationships, in all relationships. If you walk by somebody in your offices, in the corridor, question yourself after you walk by them: did I do my very best in my relationship? How did I say hello? Do your very best relationally. And of course, as a human being, do your very best and ethically. If you do your very best in those areas and question yourself once in a while, how could I do better? That will make you a human being of excellence. A thing is always, does it function well? A human being is function, morality, and relationship. And a relationship, by the way, be very careful here. The relationship part is by which you are going to be judged by others. What is, again, even there, who do you want to be? How do you want to be respected? You want to be respected as a fine human being? Well, be sure that you have the right relationship and project it. And that became clear to me that night when I wrote my essay. My goodness, I am defining myself, not other people. I'm defining myself. And you all define yourself. And don't blame others when things don't work out. You define yourself. Make the decision for excellence. That's my point.
Thanks. If you realize that you only have this one life and the power comes from yourself and from your dreams, you can create your vision. And then you step out and being excellent day by day. We talked earlier and we talked about the generation of millennials. And I asked all my friends and people around, I told them about the podcast because I'm honored to have you here. And our listeners are like in the age of 20 to 25 or 27. So I asked my friends, what do you want to know from such like a person who succeeded on so many different levels? The question came, how do you handle stress? How can you be excellent while you're in a stressful situation?
That is typical millennials. Oh, you millennials are something else. You talk all the time about stress. Let me. I had to laugh. A pastor in a small town I talked to recently, and he said he's going to take a year sabbatical because to get over his stress. Well, let me submit to them. I told them. In fact, I know him well. You don't even know what stress is. Let me explain you what stress is for a moment. Let me explain when I came to work. Mind you, I have hotels in five continents, 24,000 employees, thousands of people staying in our hotels every day. When I come in the morning, I check first of all to my office. And the first thing I do in the morning, I stress what happened in the last 24 hours. Did anybody get killed? Did we have a fire? Did we have major accidents? Is anybody suing us? That's stress. And that happens. Every day something serious happens when you have a worldwide situation going on. That's stress. And what I tell myself and what I tell you, come on, get over it. Have strength, fortitude, inner fortitude. Concentrate on what you have to accomplish for the value of all concerned. Mind you, in this moment, my vision of becoming the best at that time, at that point of the career of that company, my vision of being was important for 25,000 employees, for thousands of guests, for many investors. I had to concentrate to do well for them and not feel sorry for myself. I have no time for that. Get over it. Have the inner fortitude. You are in charge of your thinking. I concentrate. When things became difficult at work, I concentrate on my vision. No matter what, I didn't make excuses. Stop making excuses. Stop blaming the government and the neighbors and the police and the bar. Stop blaming. You're wasting your time. You can't do anything. The one thing you can do is take care of yourself. Concentrate on excellence and on the vision that you have. No matter what, go after it and you're going to win. Don't think in my building. Mind you, I started Ritz-Carlton from no hotel to the number one brand in the world. And the same thing with Capella. And I helped other companies to do the same. We did it all by concentrating on the dream, knowing that the vision of the company is good for all concerned. Knowing I will never get there if I let myself be managed by the excuses.
Yes.
There.
Dream, vision, concentrate on the things you need to get done. Do it with excellence. I hear the story and I love it so much because it's about love and it's about a married couple in the honeymoon I think it was in Cancun on a beach, and the man lost something. Can you tell us
Yeah.
about it?
Well, let me set the background there. I decided to empower all to what we called move heaven and earth to make sure that every guest is happy, even if incidents happen. And with this, I empowered every employee. If a guest is unhappy or something happens, you have the right, no matter who the employee is mind you, over 24,000, nearly 25,000 employees. Every employee has the right to spend up to $2,000 to help a guest be happy, even if something bad happened. Mm-hmm. That's the background. Now, Cancun, there was a honeymoon couple. They went on the beach the first day when they arrived, and the young man, the groom, lost his ring in the sand. He didn't know exactly where. Was in the water, was in the sand, and so on. And of course, there was crying, there was digging in the sand, and that means you get lose it even more. And they finally, when it started getting dark, they gave up and left, and in a very sad situation. But the 4 beach attendants, our 4 employees that worked the beach, decided to go and buy their decision, but they're empowered to do so, buy 4 metal detectors. They came and put floodlights on, engineer put floodlights on the beach, and they combed the beach with their metal detectors and found the ring. The next morning, when the couple came for breakfast, they turned over the ring to them. You can imagine the elation. It was, yeah, what would have happened if the employees wouldn't have been empowered? They would have called the general manager and said, can we buy a metal detector? The general manager, worried about cost and money, that's all they do, would have said, okay, buy one, maybe, or would have said, it's impossible, we won't find it anyway. Yeah, but no, they were empowered. They went and bought 4, spent a few $100s, and as a result, we got millions of dollars worth of public relation and advertising. They didn't know this sound because the groom, the young man, called every newspaper and every television station, told them about us. Yes. That's one. There's so many beautiful stories. What happened because employees that felt, employees don't do that unless they're part of you. They feel part of you if you don't hire them for function. You hire them to be part of a dream. Don't hire them for function. Oh my goodness, they get chairs fulfill functions, computers fulfill functions. Human beings are something different. They want to be part of something. Even Aristotle, 3,000 years ago, it already determined that human beings, in order to be fulfilled in life, need purpose and belonging. And if you run a company, that's what you have to offer, purpose and belonging. And if you don't own a company, be sure that's what you join, if they to you or not. Mm-hmm. You're in charge.
Yes, you're in charge of your own dreams. You're in charge of the vision. Orientate yourself on people who believe in the same vision as you do. Horst Schulze, thanks a lot. I want to ask you for a last advice because this is always my last question. You have so much vision and power and believing in yourself. What can you give as advice to our generation?
Well, what is your dream in your life? What is it? Who do you want to be? Do you have a destination, or are you just working and functioning in life? Or do you have a higher purpose? Mm. Please do not tell me you go to work for money. Please don't tell me. You see, if it just is money and not a higher intent outside the money, then you're no different than an animal foraging for food. That's what it is. As a human being, we should have a higher intent. an intent for excellence in life. That's a decision you make. Everything in life is decision. Destiny is not an accident. Destiny is the result of high intent decisions. That's what destiny is. And of course, hard work to accomplish the decisions. But these decisions is higher thinking. That makes you a human being, a human being that that creates excellence in the functioning. Again, a human being that creates excellence in the relationship, and a human being that is excellent morally and ethically, and all that with high intent and the decision finder. Everything is decision. Everything. And look, I give you a silly, probably silly example to you. When I got married, nearly 44 years ago, I made a decision right there. This is not just a marriage that where you're together and you love your wife. No, no. I want a marriage where I am in love with my wife for the rest of my life. Yeah, well, now that cannot be just a decision. Now you have to do something. Now you have to do something. Do that actually is maintained. And guess what? After 44 years, I'm in love with my wife. But I have to go to my wife once in a while. And hey, guys that are listening, if you're married, listen to me, guys, millennials. Again, you see, it is nothing but a decision. But I have to do something. I have to create a process so it happens. So once in a while, I say to my wife, how can I be a better husband to you? And then tweak what I'm doing. And it always comes back. Once you do that, then you're allowed to say, here's how you can be a better woman, better wife. You see, it's not enough to have the vision. You have to do something about it. You have to be committed to that. But it won't happen without a vision. It won't happen without a vision. It won't happen. What are you going to do? You just, without a vision, you're just functioning. There has to be a higher purpose in everything you do, even in your marriage, even in all of your life. Look, let me give you another silly example. Silly example. And I'm not trying to sell something to you, mind you, but it's a sample that will make sense. I have a very good friend, Stefan, who happens to be very proud that he is an atheist. I happen to be a believer in Jesus, happen to be. But you want. But he likes to argue with me why I believe and so on. And he's a great guy, by the way, a wonderful human being and a great friend, okay? But so I was with him again, and he said, now, Horst, you cannot prove that there is God. Of course not, I said, Stefan, but you cannot prove that there isn't. With other words, even that is a decision, which may evolve, which is impacted from people around you, but usually not made by you. I made a decision to believe. With other words, I made a decision for hope, Stefan, and you against hope. You see, even that is a decision. Everything in your life is a decision. So make the decision. Make the decision for high intent, for a great future, for a place in the future, and then go on a journey to get there. Beautiful. This is life. This is, if you have high intent, let me tell you that, all millennials, I can tell you're not there yet, but nearly, I see them all. There comes this, they reach 45, 50, and they go into midlife crisis. Why? Because they just worked.
Yes,
they just worked.
Or they forgot it, maybe. Yeah.
They never had high intent. They never were fulfilled by accomplishments, but it just worked. And then they're sorry for themselves all of a sudden because you think it's too late. By the way, it's never too late. I started Capella Hotel Company when I was 65, and it's now voted best hotel company in the world.
Yeah.
Never too late.
We have to find out what are we believing in. do we believe in ourselves? What do we want for our life? And more important, what do we want for people around us and for
That's right.
people all over the world? Because we are one person living in a big circle, and we are connecting and empowering, and also get power from everyone around us. You say we millennials have to think bigger and concentrate on everyone also besides ourselves.
Yeah, yes, look, let me give you a model of that leadership. First is the vision, the dream, what you want to, who you want to be as a human being in 10 years from now, let's say.
Yes.
Next comes, and I give you the model. Let me give you a model. Next comes, you have to commit to it. It cannot be a pipe dream. Once you're there, say, yes, I will do it. Next comes to decide how I'm going to get there, and then start implementing the steps that get you there. And here, next comes, and that is the difficult thing, what comes next, is to keep focus on it.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're human beings, we will find an excuse soon why it cannot be done. We find excuses for ourselves. Here's the problem. The excuse will not give you anything, no satisfaction, no happiness, no fulfillment. The thing that gives you fulfillment in life is accomplishing the vision and the journey toward that vision. Yeah. So you have to find the inner fortitude, not to come with the excuse of stress or difficulty or the weather or the economy or the government or the police or all this stuff that we find as excuses. But to say, even though, oh, I understand there's a problem here with the government, but I'm going to make it anyway. Oh, yeah, there is an economy problem right now, but I'm going to make it anyway. Having that inner fortitude of the concentration on your vision will get you not giving up, with other words. Mm-hmm. I see very few people who are able to do that. Very, very few. But that means that you have more opportunity. They all give up. They all find an excuse. Now, think about it this way. So many people in the beginning of the year have the vision not to smoke anymore. Okay, they commit themselves to it. Then they throw away the cigarettes. They take the step to get you there. And then there comes a stress moment and say, well, now I have one. And bang, they're back again. Instead of saying, no, my vision of being healthy, being well, not smoking, is more important than taking a cigarette just because I have a little stress right now. You see, that's the model. Write it down for yourself. Vision, commitment, initiating the steps that get you there, and focus, and underneath, inner fortitude to keep the focus. No excuses. That gets you anywhere you want to get. You will get there, certainly. And frankly, let me tell you, to be honest, I was a vice president over 65 hotels for another hotel company when I was offered with investors and developers to start Ritz-Carlton Hotel Company. I was running the company. They were developers and investors. And I had a dream. That's why I joined. I joined to create the finest hotel company in the world. Don't think it was easy. Many times I nearly gave up. I had to constantly go back to my vision and my dream. And it is not easy, but I have to tell you the truth now. Once we were voted best hotel company in the world, it wasn't that important. What was beautiful, much more beautiful, was the journey to get there.
Because you felt like you were part of something big.
The part of getting to work with people, to overcome difficulties, to lie down and in the mud and think we're not going to make it, but be able that we stood up and did it anyway together and helped each other and so on, and not give up. And I had to be the leader of that vision. I couldn't let him forget the vision and feel sorry for myself. I couldn't say, oh, I can't because I have to take off a year. Stressed. Come on. I had to say, I can do it anyway because I'm here for so many people. I'm responsible for so many people. I'll do it anyway.
Yes. Thanks, Mr. Horst Schulze, for your insight.
I'm delighted to be with you, and I wish you the very best, all of you. And remember, establish your dream and go after it and enjoy it. Make the decision to enjoy the good moments and the bad moments. It's life, even the bad ones.
Yes, it's life.
God bless you.
God bless you. Have a wonderful day.